This new native SmartSuite integration allows you to create beautiful and smart PDFs for your quotes, orders, invoices using Google Doc templates. Resulting files can be shared via email or Slack or simply be saved to a record in SmartSuite. Today we are talking about the new integration with the DocsAutomator service. Hi, my name is Artem, I'm a product manager at SmartSuite. Let me show you how it works. DocsAutomator is an app that lets you hook up a Google Doc template to a certain data source and start generating documents out of it. In our case, SmartSuite will be that data source. So the first thing we need to do is to create an account in DocsAutomator. And the process is really simple, just takes a few seconds. Once you've logged in, you would need to create a new automation or a new document generation workflow. And while all these steps might seem like a lot, the process is actually very simple and fast. So let's go through it step by step. First, you'll click on the SmartSuite icon and authenticate with your SmartSuite credentials, which I already did. Next, you'll need to pick a template you want to work with. And if you have already been using Google Doc templates in the past and you have your own, you can use those. Or you can start building one from scratch, which we are not going to do right now. And finally, you can browse through a gallery of pre-built templates, which is a very good starting point. And you'll find that templates are grouped by categories, and I'll be looking specifically for a quote template for this demo. So I guess invoices category is the closest that I can get. And I'll just pick the first one, the classic blue. We can preview it, and if we are happy with what we see, we have to click Use this template. And then it will ask your permission to make a copy of this template and upload it to your Google Drive. Once we confirm, it will open it up, and here we can start modifying and editing this template. All the things wrapped in those double curly brackets are called placeholders, and they will be later replaced with the real values from SmartSuite. For now, there are several adjustments that I want to make to this template. First of all, it's a quote, not an invoice, so I will rename some of those placeholders so that they made more sense. As for my company details, I want to get rid of these placeholders and use static values instead because details of my company are not going to change that often. Now look at this subtable below. This is where the quote line items will be displayed, and we'll get back to this in a moment, but for now I want to make some adjustments here as well. And now when this template is ready, we can select it from the Google Drive and move to the mapping step. In the mapping step, it will ask to select workspace, solution and table it can use as a data source. And it will also ask for a field that it can use as a document's title. In this case, it can just be a quote number. And now we have this long list of fields to be mapped. But the cool thing is that a built-in AI can do it for us automatically, and it does it quite good. And remember that subtable for quote lines that I showed you in the template. This is where it asks for a linked record that points to a table where it can pull this data from. So in our case, it will be just link to quote lines. Boom. And here we'll ask AI to do the mapping once again. Okay, our basic setup is actually done. But before we jump back to SmartSuite, let me highlight just the several more advanced options that DocsAutomator offers. You'll find them behind this gear icon that is shown next to each field. From here, for example, you can hide fields or rows that don't have values. Or you can mark certain fields as hidden and they will never be printed, like when you only need those fields to be used in conditions, which you can also set up here. And in my example, tax and discount fields only make sense when they are greater than 0, otherwise I want them to be hidden. So this is how I can set it up right here. Now we're back to SmartSuite automations, and we'll use a very common scenario. When a button is clicked, we'll generate a PDF and store that PDF into the triggering record. But to access that Google Doc template that we have just configured, we will use a new action called DocsAutomator Generate PDF. And everything is very simple. The setup is as straightforward as it could be. First, you need to provide your DocsAutomator API key. Then, we'll select the automation or the workflow that we have just set up inside DocsAutomator. And finally, you can compose a name for the generated PDF file, and it can either be a static text or a dynamic value that will be based off values of other fields. All right, let's give it a test run. And pay attention that both tax and discount fields are now displayed on the document because both of them have values greater than 0. But let me change that to test if the conditional logic that we configured inside DocsAutomator works correctly. And you can see that both of these fields are no longer printed. That's handy. Here's another way how you can connect DocsAutomator to SmartSuite. You can do it through a webhook. In DocsAutomator, if you scroll to the bottom of the page, you can see that they have a webhook URL for each automation. You can copy it and then create a button field in SmartSuite. This button will open up a URL as an action, but the URL needs to be constructed with a formula. And the formula is quite simple. It concatenates the webhook URL with the ID of the current record. And then when you click it, it will generate a PDF and open it in a new tab. It's very simple. And this concludes the overview of the integration between SmartSuite and DocsAutomator. If you have any questions, any suggestions, please feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to answer all of them. And if you don't want to miss updates like this one, be sure you are subscribed. And I will see you in the next one. Cheers.